Okay, great, perfect. Okay, so I'll start the timer and I'll count us down from 5. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2. คุณพัชรีสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะคุณแซนดี้
Thank you so much for joining me today. So let's talk about crisis communications. Crisis management itself is nothing new, and communication is a very, very important part of that. Has COVID-19 taught us anything new about communication in times of crisis?
Yes. I think it taught us a lot. But I think it's stuff that we kind of know, but because it's kind of like shifted. When you have communications, you have an external and then you have internal, right? So just as a recap of what is crisis communications, usually there are things related to like the incident that just happened a few days ago with the explosion in Beirut. Sometimes it's an oil spill, sometimes it's a misconduct, sometimes it's, accidents. But COVID-19 has been extraordinary because we haven't seen anything like this. I think in the span of this recent generation, anything that rivaled to COVID is basically the Spanish flu, which affected 500 million people. And as it stands, as of yesterday, when I was checking the statistic in preparation for our conversation, COVID has affected so far 18.4 million, and 11 million have recovered, and the rest is either passed on or still, in receiving medical care. So back to the topic of, has COVID taught us anything new? Well, initially, I think in the beginning, many of us, especially in Southeast Asia, we thought, oh, this may be something like SARS, H1N1, or MERS. And, there's some spread of it. We need to be mindful of it. But we didn't think it was going to come all the way down and then start to create this lockdown. So the initial focus, when it was still called the corona, the novel coronavirus, right? We were focused externally. How do we care for the customer? And then later, when the lockdown took place, we started to be concerned about, now how do we take care of our own people? So it shifted from external communication to internal communication, locking people down, how to get them to work from home. And then as the restrictions started to ease, how do we get them back to work and feel safely about doing so?
Right, that's very important indeed. And as a PR expert, what tips do you have for businesses that are struggling at the moment?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because brandnow.asia, we're part of the PRN network, and there are roughly 30 agencies in this network. The Asian agencies bounded together, and we created this COVID communications clinic, because sometimes clients, they don't know, do I just need to ask you, one or two quick questions, and you can just give me that answer so I know how to deal with this internally? Or should I send out a press release to deal with this matter, or have some kind of conference to address this matter? So anyone is welcome to ask us a question on the COVID communications clinic. We're covering the Asian markets. The other thing that I would suggest for businesses to look at, if management is concerned and not sure, have a look around, benchmark yourself, look at what other businesses are doing, not necessarily business in the same category as you, but just generally how the big business are handling the crisis. I mentioned to you earlier, Nike quickly pivoted, from when the stores got shut down. So they went on to start doing things online quickly, to start doing videos on how to help people to be healthier and stay active and stay fit online. There are many cases of layoffs, and some of them were like the Agoda, the Ubers of the world, that when they did the layoff and how they did this. Look at those best practices. I think that's very helpful to businesses.
Right, there is a lot to be learned from what's happening right now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, exactly.
So thank you again for joining us, and hopefully people will take you up on the offer. It's worldwideweb.covidcommunicationsclinic.com, right? For free
Yes.
consultation.
Exactly. And there's several agencies in there. It's not just the Thai market. There's also North Asia as well.
Fantastic. Thank you again คุณพัชรีขอบคุณ
Thank
ค่ะ
you.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Okay.